Okay, I want to begin today by getting you to think about something that happens over and over when you are engaging with a narcissist. Now, this can be someone at your place of business or in a social setting or extended family or inside your immediate home. And that is, there are times when you want to talk about some things that matter to you. You want to point out some thoughts or ideas. You're expressing an opinion. And as you're engaging with that narcissist, it's like, we're talking about two entirely different subjects here. You have one set of facts that you're coming to the table with, and the other individual is over there thinking, no, that's not what happened at all. And you can be like planets apart in terms of how you are looking at the very same thing. And in your mind, it's like, well, I know what's true. I know what's right, and I know what I saw, and I know what I believe, and it makes sense to me. And the narcissist is like, I don't even know what you're talking about. No, that's not the case at all. And they can have an entirely separate way of thinking. Now, let's pick a couple of real easy topics. These days, and by the way, it doesn't even matter what country you're living in. You throw out the topic of politics, and you got one group over here on this side that says, well, here's what's true and here's what's right. And the others over there, it's like, how can you possibly think that way? No, you've got it entirely wrong. Or it could be that you have a religious kind of discussion, politics and religion. Those are things you don't want to talk about. And one person may say, well, here's the way we need to believe. And another may say, that is so far from what our traditions tell us. I can't imagine that you would come up with an idea like that. Or it could be that you're discussing some things in your common lives together, and you're saying, here's what I remember happened last week, and the other person is thinking, that didn't happen at all. Or you may say, well, I told you this, and that other person can say, you never said a word to me about it. And it's like our facts are just so far off. And then they make, the narcissist can make crazy excuses about how you must have done something wrong or thought something wrong, or you just have a bad set of information that you're trying to draw upon. It could be something as simple as you're trying to explain a preference. Hey, I think this kind of music is really good. And the other person can say, oh, that's the worst there ever was. And it's like, no, well, I know that, but I went to a concert and I heard this, that, and the other. It's like, you didn't go to that concert. I'm on and on and on we can go. Does that ever happen to you? And then I wonder if you can just kind of think about what goes on the inside of your mind. What kind of thoughts reverberate in there? For example, you may just say, can't you just admit the truth? You ever think that way toward a narcissist? Or don't you realize how ridiculous you sound? And of course, the narcissist is going to say, yeah, I do. Of course, no, they won't. They don't think that way. They don't think of themselves as being ridiculous at all. Or you might think, can you ever admit that you just don't know something? Or that maybe you could be wrong? Or you might say, I saw this with my own eyes. I heard this with my own ears. And the narcissist is over there thinking, I'm unimpressed. I don't have the same version of the way life plays out as you do. That's how it goes in the world of the narcissist. Now, why is it that narcissists have a difficult, sometimes impossible way of coming towards the truth? Why is it that they cannot agree with you about some of the basic facts of what goes on inside your engagement with one another? I'm going to give you two words: alternate reality. Now, interestingly, narcissists will say, oh, isn't that the case? You have a very alternate universe that you live in. My universe, of course, it's built around me, is the only one that matters. A defining feature of narcissism is that they live with a sense of alternate reality, an alternate truth. Truth to them is whatever is expedient for them in the moment with respect to the facts. If I have to say, well, here's my preference, then I'm going to have to come up with a group of facts that's going to back that up. Doesn't matter if it's accurate or not. That's the way I think. And so they have multiple thoughts or ideas in their mind that they'll lead with as they engage with you. For example, now they may not say this, but in their mind, it's like, I already know everything I need to know, which means your perspective is irrelevant to me. Or another guiding thought that the narcissist can have, and that is, you're dismissed. You see, another ingredient of narcissism is a lack of empathy. It's like, I don't feel the need to get inside your mind and your emotions and your world with you and hear things from your vantage point. You're dismissed. Go away. Which reveals another primary thought that narcissists lead with, and that is, I'm smarter than you. I'm better than you. I really do know what's right, and you should listen to me. And they honestly believe in their own superiority. There's no sense of equality whatsoever. And another guiding thought that's in their mind, and that is, I never have really appreciated the value of collaborative thinking. Why would I need to do that? When I come to the table, well, there's one person in the room that everybody needs to listen to, and wouldn't you know, it happens to be me. I don't need to get into all of the other perspectives of someone else. And they have a very black and white, all or nothing kind of thinking. These are individuals who look for people who are going to back up their notions. They don't want to hear challenging perspectives at all. And then basically they'll come back and say, well, if you're trying to get me to understand your version of truth, you know what that means? That means you're a controlling person. You're just an impossible individual to get along with, and you're over there thinking, oh man, I think I'm just going to pull my hair out because that's the pot calling the kettle black. No, I'm not. This inability to receive someone else's understanding of truth, that's a control tactic in and of itself. Now, there's an interesting element that underlies all of this inside the narcissist, and it's what I refer to as relationship laziness. Basically, we're going to start with the notion that says there's so much variety in the way that you think and that I think and how we understand things and how we can approach facts and figures and projects and things of that nature, that a smart person, an engaged person, is going to say, well, let's work this out. Let's see if we can figure out what your perspectives are. I can always learn something, and I want to share mine, and I want you to share yours. And that narcissist is over there thinking that sounds like too much work, because in the end we're going to arrive at the conclusion that makes sense to me anyway. And they don't want to do the hard work of sifting things out and hearing one another, and they don't want to do the hard work of saying, well, you know, I could always learn a new angle. Tell me yours. They don't think like that. So, your response is to take a deep breath, pull back, remember who this person is that you're dealing with, and gather your emotions, because you can just kind of feel as I'm talking about this that this can create its own version of tension and frustration and agitation. And we're at it again, or I got suckered into it one more time. You're going to need to emotionally and even sometimes intellectually just disengage, physically sometimes disengage. Drop the notion that you're going to correct them, that you're going to get them to see the light. They don't want to see the light. They want to see one thing, and that is themselves. But instead, I'm hoping that you can anchor down on certain key thoughts about what you know is wisest and best. And let's just kind of underscore several thoughts here. It's true that your thoughts or ideas deserve to be heard. That's true. It's true that we need each other. That's just a basic in human dimensions. It's true that no one person is self-sufficient. And the person who says I am, they don't get it. It's true that learning can be a lifelong exercise. I hope that on the last day of my life, I'm still learning something. It's true that differentness can stimulate growth. And that growth can happen from the inside out. You can be a better person as you engage with different thoughts and ideas. It's true that closed-mindedness still exists in a lot of people. And it's true that you can still be stable in spite of your engagement with both those closed-minded people, even if they dislike you or if they dismiss you. It's true that smart and wise people actually like to be challenged. And it's true that your personal worth is not contingent upon that other individual saying thank you when you throw out your ideas of what's right and what's wrong. So when we just get down to the basic, and that is, let's just agree on the facts, can we? Let's just understand what is true. Are we starting that at a good place? The narcissist is already at that beginning point, right out of the starting gate, going to say, well, let me tell you how you're wrong. It's like, we haven't even gotten there yet. Well, I already know you're wrong. That's how they think. And so go and engage with that individual if you have to, knowing that you're going to be running into a brick wall. It may be that you'll just have to say, this is somebody that I cannot do any kind of close engagement with. I may not even need to be in their presence whatsoever. And then keep moving on in what you know is a wise and good direction. Now, I want to close with one final question, and that is, can you know what is right and true while at the same time being a decent person to live with? That's the challenge. The narcissist cannot possibly do that. I'm hoping that you and I can hold on to our truth, but then we'll also recognize above that, goodness and kindness and healthy boundaries and assertiveness. Those are the things that I want to stand for, and I'm not going to get caught in the fruitless debate that narcissist is predictably going to try to pull me into. I do hope that videos such as this will stimulate your thinking and prompt you to ponder, how do I engage with other individuals? And if that's the case, if you haven't already done so, I would encourage you to go beneath the video here and hit that subscribe button so we can keep you apprised of more videos that come along. You'll know that we have a new website, survivingnarcissism.tv, and I'd encourage you to go and browse around in that. We're going to be putting all sorts of new things in there as the days and weeks and months go by. If you have a need for online counseling and you want somebody that can help you unpack some of this in a clear and objective way, I've vetted a group, and we have a link below for that so that if you want to call them and set something up online, they're there to help you. If you would be interested in my books, my online workshops, there's links there, and we even have coffee mugs. Now, it's true that narcissists are difficult people. I hope it's also true that you can be a voice of reason and, more importantly, a voice of decency. So that having been said, I wish for you stability. I wish for you peace as you engage with otherwise rather difficult individuals.